Julie King here today with Paul Calandra, our newly re-elected MP for Oak Ridges Markham. Paul, thanks for being here today.
No, my pleasure.
So what I want to know first is, now that you've been re-elected, what's a typical day like in the life of a politician representing Oak Ridges Markham?
Well, there's two typical days. There's the constituency day, and then there's the days, the time that you spend in Ottawa. Typical day in the riding means predominantly meeting with people, because I do spend 4 days a week in Ottawa, and usually on the Friday I'm back in the riding. And those are days that are filled up with meetings with constituents who haven't had an opportunity to meet with me. Usually out and about in the public. We have lots of events. This weekend, of course, we have the opening of a brand new Legion in Stouffville. We have a couple of community walks to attend to. So very, very busy, but a lot of fun at the same time. And of course, in Ottawa, that's just Parliament's going to be resuming quickly. And there's committees, there's House duty, but Ottawa is a much more structured day. You know, when your day starts, it usually starts 8 in the morning with briefings and ends by about 8 o'clock at night. And as I said, much more structured, but a lot more fun in the riding.
8 till 8 during the 4-day work week in Ottawa. That's a pretty long day.
Yeah, you know, but as I said, I keep telling people that you shouldn't feel sorry for your politicians. You pay us quite well, so you should demand people who are going to work quite hard.
Okay, and what is going to be the priorities when you return to Ottawa?
I know probably a lot of people are sick of hearing, but it's going to continue to be jobs in the economy. It's as we said, and as I said during the election, the focus has to continue to be on the economy. We still see all kinds of weakness, both with our partners down in the United States and our European partners. Canada is doing quite well, but we have to make sure that we remain competitive so that we can continue to grow jobs, continue to grow the economy, and that we can continue to lead the world in terms of job creation and economic growth.
Now that sounds like, to a layperson, pretty theoretical, pretty high level. Tactically, what does that translate to?
Yeah, well, the first thing we're going to do when we're back in the House is we're going to reintroduce the budget that was, of course, defeated when the government fell in March. So we're going to reintroduce that. That, of course, focuses on tax cuts. It put more money in the pockets of seniors. We're going to increase the GIS. We're talking about bringing the budget back into balance.
Will it be the same budget, or are we going to see any changes?
Well, it'll be predominantly the same, but one of the promises that we made during the election was to end the political subsidies to the parties, and the minister has said that he will outline a proposal to eliminate those subsidies over the next 4 years. So that's one change that will be in there, but for the most part, it's the exact same budget that we introduced in March.
Okay. Now, you campaigned a lot on the issue of the Rouge Park and the farmland. What's going to happen there?
Well, early next week, we'll be sitting down with the Environment Minister, Peter Kent, and his new Parliamentary Secretary, and we will start to put in a framework with respect to meeting our obligations that the promises that we made during the campaign to create a national park in the Rouge, but at the same time to make sure that we protect our farmers and we really give this community something that it can be proud of, and while respecting our farmers and the right that they have to farm using best farm practices.
And so does that mean that the lands that were originally taken over for the Pickering Airport, that it's not all going to become one big park and they're going to be split? Is there any idea how that's going to look?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down with the stakeholders, so the farmers. We're going to sit down with the Rouge Park. We're going to sit down with the town of Markham and some of the original landowners. We're going to get a sense of what their ideas are. We're going to talk to Markham about their infrastructure needs. They've been pretty clear on the fact that they have some very pressing infrastructure needs in part of the parklands. So we'll come to a consensus among us. We're not going to shove anything down anybody's throat. We don't want to create a park that or resolve issues in this area where everybody's angry. We want to bring the community together once and for all. Get ourselves a great national park, but also make sure that Markham's needs are addressed, their infrastructure needs, and that our farmers are guaranteed the right to continue farming for a very, very long time.
Okay. When we met before the election, you outlined a number of pretty large projects that had happened in Stouffville and surrounding Oak Ridges, Markham. Are we going to see more projects like that? Is there anything in the hopper for the coming 4 years?
Well, I think the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that the projects that we've undertaken are going to be done. If you, when we talk Stouffville specific, we have we're nearing the end of the museum project, the completion of that. If you've, I know a lot of people have talked to me about how beautiful Memorial Park, the new baseball diamond there is coming. It is absolutely a spectacular project. I've been informed by the town council and the Stouffville Town Council that they're some of the rink projects that we funded are either completed or nearing completion. So I think for the short term, we're going to make sure that they all get done. They're going to be completed. And then we'll sit back down with the towns, not only in Stouffville but across Oak Ridges, Markham, see what their priorities are, but always in line with the fact that it is our intention, the federal government's intention, to bring the budget back into balance.
Right, because we had some infrastructure projects which were, stimulators for the economy, but are we going to see a transition now towards the deficit and balancing the budget?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, there still is, of course, what we call the Building Canada Fund, which is the ongoing infrastructure component of the Government of Canada. That will continue. We've also guaranteed the gas tax funding for municipalities, so that will continue. We have a number of other grants that will continue, the New Horizons for Seniors grants, the Enabling Accessibility Fund grants. So there still are avenues for the federal government to participate in funding.
Right.
But ultimately, the federal government is, as we promised during the election, we're moving towards a balanced budget. We want to get to a balanced budget as soon as we possibly can, so that we can bring forward, as we promised, income splitting for families, which I think would be when you talk about Oak Ridges, Markham, which would be a huge stimulus for our families to be able to split income up to $50,000 each year. So
Absolutely.
That's a definite priority for us.
Okay. And in terms of you personally, can you reflect at all on the election campaign? It was a pretty grueling process.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult 5 weeks, the actual campaign itself. As we said during the campaign, I'd only won by 500 votes, so the entire time after you're elected is a campaign when you win by 500 votes, or really. Anytime you're elected by people, I think you always have to continuously be working very hard to continue to have people's support. But yeah, I'm glad it's behind us. I'm obviously very, very happy with the results, both locally.
You won by quite a bit more.
Yeah.
What was the spread, the final spread?
21,000 votes between myself and the second place, and very happy about that. We came in second nationally in terms of the most votes that any one person got, so I was very happy with that.
Nice.
But I'm glad it's done, and we can continue to focus on getting the job done, on jobs in the economy, and in working with the mayors to make sure that our community's needs are met.
Excellent. And just to take things off in a more personal direction, you have a couple of young children. And is it tough balancing? What advice would you have for others who, say, small business owners that are balancing the needs of a business that takes 12 hours a day?
Well, that's just it, right? It's no tougher for a politician than it is for anybody else right now. Small business people are in the exact same boat. And in this economy, anybody who's is working is in the same boat, right? Because we're putting in longer hours. Companies have fewer resources. The great thing that we have is technology helps us. Computers and Skype and the ability to everyday connect. I do that with my kids.
From Ottawa, you'll Skype video call.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do that. Spend as much time as I can with them. They get used to the routine. But ultimately, for me, I've always made the practice that Sunday is my day with my family, and we're pretty strict with that. So I'm usually on from I leave for Ottawa late Sunday night, and I'm not back till Friday mornings for the most part. So we do take the one day for sure, and reserve it for family.
And that brings actually, I guess, my final question. Important topic for people in Stouffville continues to be internet access and having high-speed internet. I mean, you're based in town where the internet coverage is pretty decent. Now, Canada has a couple of initiatives where they want to see broadband go across nationally. Are you involved with any of those projects?
I'm very aware of internet broadband access. I used to, before being elected, I lived in Stouffville, and I was an insurance broker and predominantly worked from home. And the cost of bringing internet, high-speed internet to my home was it hurt, to say the least. It was very, very difficult, but it was an investment I had to make if I wanted to operate my business. I think it has, I know it has an impact on the northern part of Stouffville and actually in King Township as well. So we do have some grants that are available, but ultimately I'm going to continue to work with the industry minister. We want to see small communities across this country connected. For small business, we want more people working from home. We want to stop gridlock. We talk about that a lot. We want to provide all options and alternatives to everybody going down, either downtown Toronto or working from a central spot. And the only way we can do that, and the only way we can continue to be competitive, is if we give our small businesses and our communities the resources so that they can actually compete. And people get tired of hearing, well, it's a global village, but it actually is. Whether you're tired of hearing about it or not, it is, and we have to make sure that Canada can compete. And I think expanding access and making sure that it's affordable for everybody is the way that we're going to continue to lead the world in terms of economic growth.
You won't get any arguments here on that point, and I'm sure the people of Stouffville will be very happy to hear that, because that is something that we've heard a lot about from the town. Yeah. So thank you very much, and wish you many long days of productive achievements.
Thank you.
We'll try to touch base with you every once in a while to keep Stouffville and Stouffville Connects up to date on what's happening.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Okay, thanks.